week's episode of Let's Talk About It with Keola. I am your host, Keola, and I want to thank you guys for joining me today. And if you have not already subscribed, I'd love to have you as part of my YouTube family. So please subscribe, like, and share. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the power of gratitude, right? And so as we go into the Thanksgiving season, you know, we've gotten away from why people originally celebrated Thanksgiving. So today I just kind of want to briefly talk to you about just finding ways to be grateful, even when times are difficult. And I know when times are difficult, it's really hard. I can speak to you from experience, how difficult that can be at times, but I can also share with you that I was able to make it through some really, really tough times in my life by utilizing gratitude, right? So, you know, at this time of year, people often are dealing with maybe their loved one passed away around this time of the year. Maybe in this economy, you're really having a difficult time just trying to make it from day to day, hour to hour. I get it. I do completely understand that. And I'm definitely empathetic to that. So I do know that that is, you know, a big deal. And I don't by any means want to minimize anyone's experience. But what I am here today to tell you is that it doesn't matter what your experience is. Being grateful and finding a way to find something to be grateful for when you're going through a really tough time is a difference maker. I experienced some of the most difficult things that I think people experience in a lifetime. I have experienced the death of someone really close to me, actually multiple people that were very significant people in my life. I went through a divorce when the real estate market crashed. I remarried my husband only for him to pass away during this time of year. So it is a really difficult time. I get it. I was told by someone previously that oftentimes a lot of people pass away during this time of the year because they've really fought to hold on all year long. So you tend to have a lot of family members and friends that experience death or transitioning during this time of year. So I do get it. I completely understand that. But what I want to stress to you is that gratitude will make a difference. Why will it make a difference? Because psychologically, it's actually challenging to think of something negative and positive simultaneously, right? Your brain is typically not wired to do that. So something I want to share that has really helped me, and, you know, I practice this on basically a daily basis. It's part of my lifestyle. You know, I look at things and say, okay, here's my scenario. This is what I'm experiencing. This is what I'm going through. Okay, in this experience, what can I find to be grateful for? So for me, I am grateful that I do have, maybe not a lot of people. I don't have a really large circle, but the people that are in my circle genuinely love me, genuinely accept me. And you may want to write this down. You may want to, you know, take a piece of paper and write a gratitude sheet. I know people that have a gratitude journal, and every day they wake up and they, you know, write something down that they're grateful for. So for me, things that would go in my journal are I'm grateful for the people that I have in my circle that genuinely love and accept me. And I remove people pretty often. So if I find out someone's in my circle that doesn't genuinely care about me or support me, I have no hesitation with removing them because I'm a genuine person. So I only want to share my life experience with people who have mutual feelings for me. I am grateful that I am able to get on this podcast. Guess what? If you're able to listen to me or watch me, that means you have access to technology. That's something to be grateful for. If you have eyes and you're watching me, that means your vision is still working. That's something to be grateful for. There are some people that can't see, that are blind, that lost their sight without planning for it. If you're able to hear me, you should be grateful for the fact that you still have your hearing. There are some people that are deaf that were born deaf. That was the hand that they were dealt. There are some people that have gone deaf over the course of their life. So guess what? Hearing is something to be thankful for. If you have clothing, you know, I am grateful just to be able to purchase the basic necessities. If you can buy soap, if you can buy deodorant, you say, well, I can barely make my rent. I'm barely making it, but you're making it. If your landlord has your rent, if your landlord has part of your rent, that's something to be grateful for. If you have a job, maybe not the ideal job, maybe your job is not making enough, you know, because this economy is tough, but maybe you have those things. That's something to be grateful for. If you have a car, if you have your general health, if you're generally a healthy person, if you have means to get back and forth to work, whether that's in a car, whether that's on public transportation, whether it's taking an Uber or a Lyft, you're able to get there. I know people that have had a stroke unexpected. I know people under the age of 25 that have had aneurysms. I know people that have lost everything in their life to fire. And so if you're still able to find a place to sleep and lay your head down, doesn't matter if you're in an apartment and it's not fully furnished, and maybe you're sleeping on the floor. But guess what? You have shelter. You're not downtown under the bridge, downtown Atlanta under the bridge. You're not sleeping on a street corner. You're not getting your food from the trash can. Maybe it's tough. Maybe you can't buy all the things that you want. And you know how, you know, as a culture, we love to be able to say it's Thanksgiving and, you know, we want all the feasts that are tied to that. Just be grateful to have people in your life that love you, that you can share your time with, that you can look back one day and say, you know, I went through a really rough time. I can remember an experience in my life at a period when the real estate market crashed and I was going through a divorce. My kids and I ate a lot of Little Caesars pizza. Is that my favorite pizza place? Of course not. I would much rather have something of higher quality in food. But we were able to look at our situation and say, you know what, we could have a pity party. We could feel sorry for ourselves. We could say, oh, woe is me. This is what's happened to me. Or we could say, you know what, this is where we are, but I'm grateful for what I do have, and I'm not going to stay in this position, right? So if you have any access to any ability to just assess your life, sometimes you have to step back and say, maybe I've been a little ungrateful. You know, maybe you don't have the best relationship with your family. Maybe you don't have a lot of friends. Maybe you realize your family is toxic and you were the person who decided to remove yourself. Congratulate yourself and be thankful that you had the courage to step back and choose yourself and say, I'm going to do what's in my best interest, because there are some people who don't have the strength, who don't have the capacity. And so what typically happens when you get this list and now you're on, you know, number 30, you're on number 25, and you're like, man, I didn't realize I had 25 things I could be thankful for. Your brain is not able to focus on the what I don't have. It's now focusing on what you do have, which in turn puts you in a better state of mind. It causes you to feel like an adrenaline rush so that you start feeling better. And I know people have told me when I was going through a really rough time, well, go find somebody else to help. You know, it'll make you feel better. And I was like, really? I don't feel good about it. But in actuality, I wasn't able to do that, but I was able to start reading positive affirmations. I was able to start reflecting on my life, saying, you know, I'm not going to focus on what I don't have. I'm going to put my energy into believing that God is going to take me from where I am to another place. And I now can look back and say, I can't believe I made it from some of the situations that I was in. If I shared those details with you guys, you would probably be like, I don't really believe that you were in that situation. Oh, absolutely I was. But my gratitude shifted my thinking. It caused me to realize, okay, no one has every single thing that they want. There's no such thing as a perfect life. And we all want to have this fairy tale that everything always goes as planned. We never lose a family member. No one ever passes away. There's never death. There's never a loss of finances. There's never sickness. That's not reality, right? Do we like it? I don't. Of course not. Most people don't. So in the midst of that, you have to be realistic with yourself and say, these things happen. Do I like it? No. But in the midst of this, in the core of what's happening, there's always something to be grateful for. When my children were young, I would put them in the car and I would take them to the worst parts of this city in Atlanta. I would let them see how people were living. I would let them see, people were drugged out. They were on the streets. They were mentally ill. And then I would take them to some of the most expensive neighborhoods you could possibly visit in this city. And I always shared with them the reality of these are two choices that you have. You can make choices that will put you on this side of Atlanta, or that you can make choices that'll put you here. And so that is a reality, and you get to make choices on which path you'd like to take. So I want to employ you today. If you are having a hard time, if this is a difficult time, if you've lost someone, if you're trying to make it, you're not sure how, take a moment, breathe, relax, say a prayer, ask God to reveal to you the wisdom you need to get out of the situation that you're in, and to start thinking about the things that you do have, the people that you do have. And I guarantee you, I'd like to hear it in your comments. Come back and tell me, hey, you know what? Last year, Thanksgiving, this was happening to me, and this happened to me a week later, or my life has changed. Or you know what? When I shifted my thinking, I realized I actually have more things going for me than I don't. There are a lot of things happening. There are people that have gotten into gangs because they're looking for love and they didn't have acceptance from their family. That wasn't the best choice, but it was the choice that they made. Guess what? You can always change where you are as long as you have breath in your body and you have your mental capacity. You can always make this necessary decision to take a different route. So I'd like for you guys to just think about what you're grateful for. I'm grateful for the opportunity to get on this podcast. 10 years ago, no one could have told me I would be sitting here, with a podcast talking to people about real life experiences. But guess what? I'm here. I'm thankful. I'm appreciative of every person that watches me. I'm appreciative of every person that listens to me. And my goal is to help myself, along with you guys who are interested in becoming the best versions of ourselves, and to live a life beyond yourself, right? And so to be able to become better individuals and to look at things from different perspectives and know that our lives can change. So I want to thank you guys for watching today. I hope that you have an amazing holiday. Find something to be thankful for. I hope that you will take a moment to reflect and realize where you can shift your thinking. It's going to take work. It's not necessarily easy, but I can assure you that it can be done. And so I want you to stay connected with me. So make sure that you're following me on TikTok and Instagram. And remember, I love you guys without judgment. See you next time.